how you can work with those donors. Real-time donor engagement. Again, that goes back to some self-serve work, as well as pulling data in from other external sources. Personalized communication and stewardship. It's ownership. It's owning the database, owning the accuracy of the data, and making sure that, again, it comes back to getting what you want, what you expect out of the database. Data visualization and reporting. As you get into more sophistication and more sophisticated technical tools, you can visualize your data better. You have a good handle on a certain number of your donors, people that you, and organizations that you've known for years. But what about the others? What about the ones that you don't touch on a regular basis? These tools can help you get there so that you can use some predictive analytics to determine how they're going to behave if you put together a certain program. And then ultimately, donor relation management. So the big four: get the right tools, train for accurate insight, a lot of what I was just talking about, streamline your operations. There are probably improvements that you guys can make in your organization that will streamline how this whole process works once you get into the new system. And then the ultimate out of that is that with better data, with more accurate data, timely data, you can drive your fundraising success because you don't have to spend a lot of time fiddling with data.
You know, it's interesting, Rob, both Bruce and Jonathan, and in their respective camps as far as the migration for about a similar length of time, and yet they're both facing daily challenges, tweaks that are still required, and that's probably natural, but to Dennis's earlier comment, is if we can't acknowledge a donor's gift in a timely manner and in an accurate manner, everything else behind the scenes is irrelevant.
Yep. Because you spend too much time fixing things rather than looking at forward progress and how you're going to move things ahead.
I would just respond to that by saying I think we are easily beyond where we were before, and we're ascending. We're now in that high expectation phase where we're continuing to bite at the apple of better and better results. So we're doing all those things. We are affirming donors. We're tracking their gifts. We're doing all those things.
And forgive me if I misspoke, it's recognized we're 3 years behind the curve, and so it's.
But it's a process, and they've gotten there because they've worked through the process.
And I hope, Dennis, I think you would agree with me, the pain that we went through by cutting the path and helping brainstorm become better and better stewards of the experience to move more efficiently forward. Each place you land to do this, you're better equipped to more effectively execute.
Yeah, you have learnings that you now have under your belt that you can work from and improve on.
And so that's the thing that I see is that the path for you is clear now in ways that it wouldn't have been had nobody forged this to get that.
Yeah, and had we not, had we not been involved in your process, there would be data still sitting in Denari that didn't come over to Virtuous, and you would be looking now at how you get that data over. And it's after the project, after the fact, and down the road. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for us, as far as the team goes, we're a relatively young team. I know I don't look but our director, I think he's been in that slot for maybe 6 years.
Mhm.
as far as working together. But, we're coming to these decisions as to how to, across the board, enter what verbiage you use,
Yep.
what drop-down lists to modify so it says the same thing.
And here's the key. If you're looking at your database, you're looking at the data that's in your database. If you're not satisfied with what you're getting out of the current database, then don't subscribe to the belief that because you've always done it this way, it will somehow work out, because that'll never happen. What you need to do is expand your thinking, get out beyond the box, and try to figure out how to make that data work for you.
Right. We were trying to get some information out. We knew what we were thinking, but we were having trouble learning how does the program think. What verbiage to use.
Yep.
The and/ors, the if-thans.
And you may need to answer some of those questions. You may need to go back to the vendor to get them, pay 2 or 3 hours or however many you need to get them to bring that information forward to educate you guys so that you can.
Yeah, and they've been real receptive to other questions we've had as far as how building reports.
Mhm.
There's a lot of flexibility in it. Yeah, it's learning its language in order to get out what's in our head.
Language and behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I have found is I've been working with Frank in a while is every mission out there has some level of data issues.
Mhm.
And as they uncover which one they want to attack first, then they can be better particularly. And, rescue missions are taking care of 4 people, but there's so much more that has to happen for that to occur. And so, as Brainstorm Labs has been founded and started, I think every mission, as we talked to 20 or 30 missions across the country during time, they all have some level of issues that data has to implement. And if they fix it, they're going to be, but it has their ROI to it, what they mentioned.
Mhm.
So,
And it's interesting. We're encountering more missions that are telling us that they're losing donors, or they're losing, their donations are going down over the last year, and they're asking us to help them try to figure out why that's happening. So that requires some data mining. That also requires some investigative work in the environment, in the community, to find out what's going on outside the mission that's having an effect on that. So it's not just in the data in the database, it's outside in your environment, in your normal development processes, and looking at other nonprofits in the area, and donations in the nonprofit community are up or down across the board, or you're just an anomaly. So you need to do some more investigation outside of that. And AI, I'm sorry.
there's also some confusion that direct mail can solve it all. And it can't. It can and it won't. And so as we uncover various
It may create some problems.
they create some, and of course, I also believe that there's such a thing as fundraising abuse. And there's child abuse, and there's adult abuse, but there's also fundraising abuse. If you ask the wrong question too many times, people are gonna start being calloused and just throwing it in the trash. And one focus group we did when I was exiting the mission, we found out that only about 10% of the people who would look at our publications that we sent out every month, 30,000, only 10% would look at it, only half of those people read it. So what that leaves us with, 30,000, half read it, or half didn't look at it, that was 15,000, and only half of those people read anything in it.
That's another term I think you use is fatigue.
Yeah, abuse and fatigue. And so we have to be strategic, and we get strategic with data. And how do we send, I would send to Dan, I would like to know our donor well enough that if they want black and white, I can send them a black and white copy. Because there's a perception that black and white costs less money. It doesn't. Black and white costs more money now. It used to be black and white was cheaper, but it isn't anymore. So if I knew the donor well enough that I could tell him, hey, I want this, tell the direct number company, I want this group of people to get black and white, I want this people to get color. And then these people just get an abbreviated version. I never got to that point. But that's what data would do if you could do that.
So that's coming back to predictive analytics. So if you have the information that you're gathering in your system, you can start to build models to create that capability. AI, I was going to mention this, artificial intelligence. There's a popular tool out on the internet right now called ChatGPT. Going gangbusters. Everybody's picking it up to do something. And the drawback with that particular product or service is that they say, they tell you right there on their webpage that the information beyond 2001 or between 2001 or 2021 and now is incomplete. So you're using an AI tool that says right up front that they can only come up to 2021, and even that information is potentially inaccurate. So AI's still got a long way to go. It's a good tool, and it's a useful tool. I've used it to go out and pull information that I need instead of opening books and searching through the internet and doing it manually, brings it back in real time, and it's a great tool, but you still have to be wise enough to read the data and assess it to determine how accurate that data is. But AI is definitely a tool that can be applied to your database to begin to give you some of those predictive analytics. It costs more money, it's an addition, it's an add-on, but there's a capability out there. And as I labeled this workshop, Next Generation Data Management, AI is where the world is going. And if you're not plugged into it right now, you need to start thinking about it and researching it in your own right and see how you can utilize that for your own database, because how well you manage that data, how well you're able to predict how your donors are behaving and what they're really thinking about or asking for. Your competitors are doing the same thing. I'll guarantee you Salvation Army is doing that. The big nonprofits are doing that because they've got the resources, they've got the money to throw at this. So you have to be more creative to get to the same place. Harness the power. You need to integrate your data from multiple sources. You need to start running advanced analytics on your data. Start monitoring data in real time. That's the data that's being input, the self-serve data, and the data that you're pulling from integrated systems. Personalize your communication. I know you do that very well, David. You need to continue to do that and enhance that. And then eventually you get to the point where you can visualize your data, getting to what Dennis is talking about, and you can get a better handle on what your data looks like, how your donors are behaving, not just the ones you have personal relationships with, but the broader base of donors that you've got in your database. So it takes a lot of effort to get to this point, but to survive, I think you have to get there. So, comments, questions? So my big three, good data drives better decisions, timely, accurate, informative data improves donor relationships, and then the effective utilization increases your fundraising efforts. And that third item is ultimately what you want to get to. And my tips, take risks. Assess it, manage it, determine how valid the risk is and how far you're willing to go, but take risks. Because your competitors are doing that. The people that are going after the same donor dollars are doing the same thing. Listen to your organizational needs. Look internally and understand what your case managers need. Understand what operations needs, and assimilate that information into your decision making for your donor development. You're going to talk about that in the next session, right? And then bottom line, you can do nothing and maintain the status quo, or do something and make a change your circumstances. So it's a tough, you guys know better than I do, it's a tough environment. The competition for the same dollars is getting more strategic, more harder. Okay. Next to the last slide, I promise. So key takeaways, I'll let you read that. Give myself the chance to take a break. Any questions about these? The best word on this slide that I like is harness. Harness your data. That word speaks volumes. Data command and control management is key to moving your donor platform, your donor capability forward. Any questions, comments? Okay. All right. I'm going to ask you, Brainstorm is offering pro bono 2 or 3 hours free consulting. You can do something today, later this afternoon, this evening, tomorrow morning, or set up a video conference to do it. Be happy to sit down with you guys and listen to issues that you're dealing with.